There is a version of you that you don't want the world to see. It's the version that exists just beneath the surface of your polite smile. It's the repository of your aggression, your selfishness, your jealousy, and your darkest ambitions. Society teaches you from a very young age to hide this version. You're taught to be nice, to be agreeable, to fit in. So, you take these darker impulses, and you shove them down into the basement of your subconscious. You lock the door, and you pretend they don't exist. You construct a persona, a mask. This mask is the curated, acceptable version of yourself that you present to your boss, your family, and your partners. It's the version that gets likes on social media and nods of approval at dinner parties. It's safe. It's predictable. It's a lie. But the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung discovered a terrifying truth nearly a century ago. The shadow does not die when it has buried. It grows denser. It grows hungrier. By denying your dark side, you don't become a good person. You become a fragmented person. A weak person. The architect knows that a building cannot stand if it ignores its own foundation, no matter how ugly that foundation looks in the daylight. Today, we're going to unlock that basement door. We're going to confront the shadow self. Not to indulge in evil, but to integrate power. Because until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Most modern men are walking civil wars. One half of them is desperately trying to be good, while the other half is screaming to be let out. This internal conflict drains your energy, cripples your confidence, and makes you easy to manipulate. If you want total control over your reality, you must first have total control over yourself. And you cannot control what you refuse to acknowledge. It's time to meet your shadow. Let's get practical. How do you actually do this? The first step is radical self-honesty. You need a journal. Not a dear diary where you list your accomplishments. You need a war journal. Every night, before you sleep, ask yourself, where was I a coward today? Where was I dishonest? What secret thought made me feel shame? Write it down without judgment. Don't try to justify it. Don't say, well, I was mean to my coworker because he deserved it. Just write, I felt a surge of satisfaction when my coworker was criticized. That's it. You're not a bad person for having the thought. You're just a person. The goal here is observation, not self-flagellation. You're a scientist studying a mysterious creature, yourself. Think about your projections. Projection is when you see a fault in someone else that you refuse to see in yourself. Who irritates you the most? Is it the arrogant guy at the gym? The lazy person in your office? The one who's always seeking attention? That intense irritation is often a compass pointing directly at a disowned part of your own shadow. The arrogance you hate in him might be the suppressed ambition you're afraid to own. The laziness you despise in them might be your own deep-seated need for rest that you've labeled as weakness. When you feel that powerful, almost irrational dislike for someone's trait, don't just judge them. Ask yourself, where does this exist in me? This isn't about excusing their behavior. It's about using your reaction as a mirror. Now let's talk about triggers. What sends you into a rage? What makes you disproportionately angry or anxious? A trigger is a key that unlocks a room in your subconscious. When someone's comment makes you fly off the handle, it's not just about what they said. It's about the old wound their words just scraped. Maybe being called incompetent sends you into a fury because deep in your shadow, there's a terrified little boy who believes he's not good enough. Instead of lashing out, the next time you're triggered, pause. Feel the heat rising in your chest. Don't react. Just observe. What part of me is this feeling coming from? What older story is being replayed right now? The trigger is not the enemy. It's a messenger from your shadow, telling you exactly where the work needs to be done. This process is not about becoming your shadow. It's not about giving into every dark impulse. It's about integration. Think of it like this. Your aggression, when it's repressed, festers and explodes in uncontrolled outbursts. But when you acknowledge and integrate it, that aggression is transformed into focused drive and the ability to set firm boundaries. Your repressed selfishness, when integrated, becomes healthy self-care and the ability to prioritize your own mission. Your envy becomes a roadmap, showing you exactly what you desire, so you can build a strategy to achieve it. You're not destroying the darkness, you're harnessing its energy. A fire can burn your house down, or it can power a steam engine. The choice is whether you control it or let it control you. So, why is this so important? Because a man who is at war with himself cannot win any battle in the external world. A man who denies his own capacity for darkness is naive and easily taken advantage of. He's the nice guy who's always taken for granted, who seethes with resentment but never understands why. He's the man who suddenly snaps, destroying his career or his family, seemingly out of nowhere, but it was never out of nowhere. It was a pressure cooker that had been building steam for years in the locked basement of his mind. The integrated man, the man who has shaken hands with his shadow, is different. He's calm, but not weak. He's kind, but not a pushover. He understands his own capacity for chaos, so he's not afraid of it in others. He has access to his full range of human emotions and drives, and he can deploy them consciously, like tools. He is whole. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a lifelong practice. It's the most difficult and most rewarding work you will ever do. It requires courage. It requires you to look at the parts of yourself you'd rather pretend don't exist. But the reward is authentic power. It's the end of the internal civil war. It's the feeling of being grounded, centered, and in complete control of your own ship, no matter how stormy the seas get. You stop being a victim of fate and become the architect of your destiny. So, take out that journal, pay attention to your projections, investigate your triggers. The door to the basement is right there. It's time to turn the key. What happens when someone, especially a man, completely represses his shadow? He doesn't become a saint. He becomes harmless. And let's be clear, in the real world, there is nothing virtuous about being harmless. A rabbit is harmless not because it chooses peace, but because it simply lacks the capacity for violence. A harmless person can't truly protect themselves. They can't protect their family. They can't negotiate for what they're worth because they're terrified of any kind of conflict. They lack the aggression necessary to draw a boundary and actually defend it. When you deny your capacity for darkness, you also lose your capacity for real strength. Furthermore, that repressed shadow always finds a way out. It leaks. One of the most common ways it leaks out is through what psychologists call projection. Have you ever met someone you instantly hated, even though they did absolutely nothing to you? Often, it's because they are openly displaying a trait that you've repressed in yourself. Think about it. The man who brutally judges his ambitious colleague is often just repressing his own ruthless desire for success. The person who constantly signals how virtuous they are is often terrified of their own capacity for moral failure. We despise in others what we cannot accept in ourselves. The more you deny a part of you, the more you'll notice and judge it in everyone else. The second leak is the explosion. You know the type, the nice guy who never complains, never argues, and always puts others first. He's a ticking time bomb. He swallows his resentment for years and years, until one day, over some minor inconvenience, he just snaps. The shadow, held under pressure for too long, erupts in a completely disproportionate rage. This is why some of the most outwardly pious and agreeable people often have the most scandalous downfalls. The higher the pedestal of virtue they build for their public persona, the darker and deeper the shadow grows beneath it. Just to balance the structure, you cannot escape your shadow. It's like your actual shadow, your silhouette. The brighter the light you shine on your persona, the darker the shadow you cast behind you. The goal isn't to destroy the shadow. The goal is to integrate it, to harness its power. How do we integrate the shadow? How do we take these raw, dangerous impulses and turn them into constructive power? Integration is not about acting out every dark impulse. It is about acknowledgement and channeling. It is about sitting at the table with your demons and negotiating a truce. You must recognize that the shadow contains gold, your repressed aggression. That is the fuel for your drive and ambition. It is the energy you need to crush a deadline, to push through a grueling workout, or to stare down an opponent in a negotiation. Without access to that aggression, you are passive. You are a ship without an engine, drifting at the mercy of the currents. You repress selfishness. That is the bedrock of self-preservation. It is the ability to say no to demands on your time. It is the ability to prioritize your own mission over the comfort of others. Without a healthy dose of selfishness, you are a doormat. People will walk all over you, and you will thank them for the opportunity because you've been taught that being nice is the highest virtue. Your repressed desire for power. That is necessary for leadership. You cannot lead if you are afraid of wielding authority. You cannot protect your family, your community, or your business if you shy away from the responsibility that power brings. True power isn't about domination. It's about the capacity to bring order to chaos, to build, to create, and to defend what is valuable. The integrated man, the shadow architect, is capable of darkness, but chooses light. This is what it means to be truly peaceful. A warrior in a garden is a peaceful man. A gardener in a war is just a victim. You must develop the capacity for mayhem, and then keep it under voluntary control. When others sense that you are capable of biting back, they are less likely to test you. You walk with a different energy. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to posture. The silent knowledge of your own capability is enough. Your presence alone becomes a deterrent to disrespect. As Jordan Peterson famously said, if you are harmless, you are not virtuous. You are just weak. Virtue is a choice. If you are incapable of harm, then your choice to be good is meaningless. It's not a choice at all. It's your only option. Integration is the process of moving from weakness to dangerous virtue. It is about forging a sword, learning how to use it with lethal precision, and then choosing to keep it sheathed. The journey of integrating your shadow is not easy. It requires you to look in the mirror and admit things about yourself that disgusted you in the past. It requires you to admit that you are not as nice as you pretend to be. You have to confront the envy, the resentment, and the anger that you've been burying for years. It's a painful, gut-wrenching process, but the reward is wholeness. The reward is an end to the civil war inside your own head. When you stop spending all your energy hiding from yourself, you free up that energy to build something in the real world. You become sharper, your focus intensifies, you see human nature more clearly because you finally understand your own nature. The world is full of people wearing masks, terrified that their shadow might slip out. They are fragile. A single insult, a minor setback, can shatter their carefully constructed persona. The architect is not fragile. He has descended into the basement. He knows what is down there. He has faced the monsters, and he has brought them up into the light to work for him, not against him. This is the ultimate form of self-mastery. It is not about being perfect. It is about being whole. It is about understanding that your darkness, when integrated, is the source of your greatest strength. It is the raw material from which you forge your character, your resilience, and your destiny. Stop running from your shadow. Turn around, face it, shake its hand, put it to work. Build a mind that cannot be broken. Subscribe to the Shadow Architect.